Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to another weekly dose of Aviation. This plane had to make an emergency landing after its landing gear failed. This F-18 pulled up almost vertically just above a crowd of people. This auto repair shop caught on fire and someone filmed it from a plane while flying above it. This is what a spin maneuver looks like from another plane, and it's basically falling out of the sky but with control. This helicopter pilot picking up trees. This fighter jet doing a low pass. This is what taking pictures of planes flying mid-air looks like from behind the scenes. This V-22 Osprey is a plane and a helicopter at the same time, and this is how it looks when it's being used as a helicopter. This is what doing a roll looks like from the cockpit. This is a prototype of a remote-controlled aircraft type. To the ground while trying to land at Los Angeles.
Mira, ay, güey. Hijo de... Sí va a bajar. Ay, chingó el motor. Sí, chingó el motor.
This aerial refueling went wrong after turbulence tore off the end of the refueling boom, causing fuel to spray out. This is how an airdrop from a C-130 looks from the inside. This landing went wrong due to strong winds causing the plane to flip over and striking its propeller into the ground. This plane flew really low right next to a highway. This is what a firefighting plane looks like in action. This is what planes flying through a thick fog looks like. These South African Air Force helicopters flying in a huge formation. This A380 taking off with snow spraying behind it. This ground crew worker is just vibing with his guide sticks. This plane crashed right in front of a car due to a failed touch and go maneuver, but luckily no one was injured. This 757 doing a low pass over an airport. This plane had an engine failure right after takeoff, so the pilot had to land in a nearby field, but luckily he managed to land and wasn't injured. This flight lesson went wrong when the plane started leaking fuel out of its wing. This is the Blue Angels taking off in a diamond formation with F-18s. This helicopter rescuing people from a sunken boat. This Cessna doing a water-assisted landing, which is basically using the water to slow the plane down before landing. This is how a Cessna looks after being underwater for a few years. This is the 2018 forest fire in Sweden, seen from an airplane. This is how rush hour looks at Logan Airport in Boston. This is how flying a jet-powered wingsuit over Dubai looks. This flying boat is a mixture of a boat and an ultralight, and this is how it looks in action. This plane's landing gear collapsed after landing, but luckily no one was injured. This F-35 doing a hard turn at an airshow. These pilots had to abort the takeoff, but the plane couldn't slow down in time. This plane had to land without its landing gear.
Fuck.
This C-130 creating vortices behind its propellers. This propeller synced up perfectly with the frame rate of the camera, making it look like the propeller isn't moving. This plane had crashed in the water, but after a while the engine turned back on without anyone in the plane.
Oh boy.
Is there somebody in there doing that?
The jet is now powering forward.
This F-5 taking off just a few feet overhead. This man ran across the ramp in Atlanta and got all the way to a plane before being arrested.
Yeah, 192. Flight attendants informed us that there is somebody who opened an overwing exit and is on the wing, getting ready to jump off.
Where? I don't see one. Oh, here they come. I wonder what happened.
This C-130 doing a low flyby and dropping flares.
Word je ook gek?
This Black Hawk intercepting a Cessna that violated prohibited airspace as part of an exercise.
Yeah, you can continue eastbound for now, and we'll follow you and escort you out. Yeah, Charlie Papa, good job, thanks guys. We're heading back to our orbit.
This 737 had landing gear problems and landed so hard that the tail struck the runway. This happened at an airport in Russia and no one was injured except the plane.
Смотрите нас в новостях, нахуй. Блядь. Охуй.
This plane taking off from a small dirt runway in a rainforest. The V-22 Osprey crashed during a test flight back in 1991, but no one was injured. This is how it looked. This is how it looks behind the scenes of an air-to-air photo shoot. This helicopter pilot flying really low through a rainforest. This Harrier jet showing off its vertical landing abilities on an aircraft carrier. This is what flying really close to the ground looks like from the cockpit of an F-16. Cessna had an engine failure and was forced to ditch in the ocean. This helicopter pilot showing off his landing skills. This plane had a compressor stall, causing flames to shoot out of its engine. This helicopter struck its tail rotor into the ground during an air show. This gyroplane's rotor decided to take off on its own.
Vixe Maria.
These F-18s doing a low pass during an air show.
Wir schalten live ins Cockpit.
This guy was just driving through an airport in Russia, but luckily no one. This is how folding aircraft stairs looks. This is the aftermath of the Pegasus Airlines 737 that overran the runway and broke into 3 pieces. This is one of the most beautiful approaches. These planes flew right next to each other to film a commercial. This guy tried to film with his phone out of an open window, but it didn't really work out. This Lufthansa A320 had a wing strike while landing in a crosswind. This helicopter was parked in the road when a truck drove into its propeller. This 747 hit a catering truck while taxiing.
Oh shit! Fuck!
This plane took off with help of rockets attached to it. This 737 took off as an A380 landed on the runway right next to it. This fighter jet flying right behind a cargo plane. This is like a car wash for planes. These water bombers were picking up water right next to a cruise ship. Boeing 737 overran the runway at Thessaloniki Airport in Greece.
Все живы?
This air bridge got blown away by the wind, causing it to crash straight into a plane. This pilot had to stop immediately to not collide with the plane in front of him. This fighter jet doing an extreme low pass just a few feet overhead. These planes almost collided with each other while landing at the same airfield.
Yep, she's pretty tight. Oh, that was close, that was not.
This glider pilot had a very hard landing, causing him to go off the runway. This is what a flooded airport looks like. This Cessna blew one of its tires after landing. The Boeing 777X had its first flight yesterday, and this is how it looked.
And here we go. This Spitfire spitting flames. This is how firing rockets from a helicopter looks. This is what picking up water in a water bomber plane looks like from the cockpit. This plane doing a low flyby over a beach in the Maldives. This is the aftermath of a tornado that struck an airport in Turkey.
Çok kötü. Antalya Havalimanı'nda çok kötü olaylar. Ya bu Korendon uçağı. Koca minibüs Korendon uçağını kaldırmış.
This is footage from one of the firemen that responded to the Asiana Airlines Flight 214 that crashed in San Francisco. This airport in Switzerland goes across an active road, so planes sometimes have to cross it. This is how the fire suppression system in an airport hangar looks. This helicopter pilot doing a quick drop-off. This Spanish F-18 flying next to a 767 to assess its damage over Madrid. This is how flying above another plane looks. This guy flew his plane through the Eiffel Tower back in 1984, and this is how it looked from the cockpit. This guy almost crashed into the water during an air race. This guy took off with his glider by simply running downhill.
Shit.
This helicopter delivering a race car with style at the Texas Motor Speedway. This C-130 dropping cargo over Afghanistan. This A380 almost had to go around while landing in a crosswind.
Oh, no, has he got it? He's gonna go around. Is he gonna go around? Oh my god, look at it! Wow.
This helicopter rolled over at sea due to strong winds. This helicopter pilot flying really close to the ground. This V-22 helicopter creating huge vortices while taking off. This is how an airport looks after a tornado. And that's it for this week.